60 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, periods of rain, could be a rumble of thunder, 55. On Monday, I'm going to keep a chance of an early morning shower, but Monday is primarily dry, partly sunny, and 59 degrees. Some more unsettled weather moving in after that, but warmer and dry by the end of next week. That's my forecast. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray. Tune in, turn on KXFM 104.7, Laguna's Community Radio.
Greetings, friends and neighbors. George Dubin with you. I'm your host for Art Matters on Tuesdays at 1 p.m., where myself and my learned guests talk about the issues facing our creative community here in the Art Colony. So please tune in to KXFM 104.7 at 1 p.m. on Tuesdays. And remember, friends, the soul and vitality of any community is often measured by how they treat their creatives.
This disclaimer is a statement notifying listening audiences that any opinions expressed on our shows are not representative of Laguna Radio, Inc., its management, or its board of directors.
Hi, good morning, Laguna Beach. This is Craig and Rainbow Radio here on what we have to characterize as a non-beach day here in Laguna Beach. Unless you want to pitch a tent on the beach and bundle up, might not be bad, with someone and watch the ocean do its thing. It's an aggressive weather day here, as you might say, but still only 60 degrees. Yeah, it could be below freezing if you were in the little further north. Anyway, we're still blessed, but it's not a beach day. Kind of gray and cloudy. We have to have those every once in a while. On this fourth day of January 2026, and I'm here, the first show of the year here on Rainbow Radio. There's a lot in the news this week, and I really got to get in touch with what has happened well, actually it happened yesterday. Excuse me. It was, it's just when you think more crazy things can't happen, they do. I guess I'll just say that. But let's not go there right now. Let's start off on a happy note here. There's some heated rivalry going on, and there's some Buckmaster Fuller and Nikola Tesla going on. Not Tesla the automobile, but Tesla, the brilliant person that believed in a lot of good things, but we'll get into that a little bit more. The segment is titled, that I'm going to bring up, Buckmaster Fuller, Nikola Tesla, and the choice to design a world that works for everyone. Now, how about that? Wouldn't that be great? So we'll dive into that. I think it's a very positive note. It's a cause for pause and to think about, global events in the world we all live in. But first, let's get on to Laguna local events and openings. And I haven't been negligent in doing this, so it's going to be a weekly thing now because there is so much going on. This week at the museum. Now, the museum, Laguna Beach Museum, is truly a unique museum. It is a nonprofit, and it is not like your traditional museum or gallery. It's kind of a hyper version of it. They do things that are really creative, a lot of performance art, which I find very interesting. Anyway, what's going on there? Laguna Museum continues its winter programming with Laguna Live at the museum. The Duo Row. That is this today at January 4th at 1 p.m. today. So you can catch it today. Live music in the galleries and culture for your weekend. I know that is put on in effort together with Laguna Live, which is a nonprofit organization right here in Laguna that works hard to provide live music for the masses. And like I said, it is a nonprofit. Lucinda Pruitt is the board of directors on that, and she does a wonderful job. Anyway, they're working with Laguna Art Museum, and they do it once a month. Next, on Saturday, January 10th, at the Laguna Art Museum, there is an Art and Nature speaker series featuring Sarita Jacquard talking about landscape design, which get a jump on it this year. Perfect if you're inspired by our beaches and canyons. And for the younger or young at heart listeners, LAM Kids Sensory Studio meets Saturday, January 24th with sessions from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's an interactive art experience for families. So all that's going on at the Laguna Art Museum. Check it out. Next, we have performance and theater highlights at the Laguna Playhouse. Check their calendar for rotating plays and performances throughout the winter, from comedy to cabaret drama. Well, it doesn't give me anything. Sorry. Anyway, I do know that they hired a new employee there, and there's nothing but good things going on. I can't give you all the details on it. But anyway, Rivian at the South Coast Theater, they're having a screening on January 10th. Catch a special screening of From Embers with guest speakers and local creatives in conversation afterwards. I'm not sure what From Embers is all about, but I'm sure you could go to the website for the Rivian Theater. And also on January 10th at 10 a.m., there's Rivian Kids Snow Much More, an interactive family-friendly event focused on play and learning. And about other community gatherings, art lovers, mark your calendars for January 15th at 5:30 at Loca Art and Talk. Hetty Bazan, boy, wouldn't that be a great name? Seeking Abstraction explores today's abstract art movement with local creative voices. Well, I should be there with local creative voices. Sign me up. That's at Loca Art Talk with Hetty Bazan. What a name. I have a friend named Fonge Dufray, but it's all very exotic. Ongoing and creative community, Martin Mose, the Art Nature Saturday Spotlight at the Laguna Art Museum features family-friendly activity. Well, we did that. Oh, Saturday. Okay. And so we, Laguna, all right. I think that covers it. Yep. That covers the goings-on here in Laguna Beach. Just because it's a new year and we had so much going on in November, December, doesn't mean that it's slowing down here. Now, I want to talk about something else I touched on last week, but I got to touch on it again because it is so cool. It is so cool. And let me see. It is a a television, well, let me just, it's called Heated Rivalry, and I talked about it last week. It is just going nuts it's about hockey, and it's in a love story, and it's LGBTQ. It's just wonderful. Today's story begins on the ice, cold, competitive, and loud. It's a story of rivalry and of love. Their names are Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov, the Russian. Two hockey superstars, the golden boy from Canada and the fiery phenom from Russia. For years, they were cast as enemies. This is the story about the story, about the series. Let me explain. It's a television series that HBO Plus picked up kind of at the last minute, and it's gone bonkers. It's gone far beyond anything they've ever had. And it's a story of two hockey players. And I don't want to give much more away than that, but let's go on. Behind the glare of the arena lights, something unexpected happened. That rivalry, that constant push and pull began to melt. Oh my, somewhere between the winds and the wounds, the fire of competition turned into something far warmer and far more dangerous. And that's where Rachel Reed's Heated Rivalry was born. Rachel Reed is the producer. Published in 2018. Oh, no, she's not. I'm sorry, I'm getting that wrong. Published in 2019 as part of a Game Changers series, it took the romance world by storm. What seemed to be a steamy sports story became something much bigger. A celebration of queer love set against one of the most traditionally masculine backdrops imaginable, professional hockey. Readers fell hard for it, not just for LGBTQ readers. Straight women especially became some of the loudest champions of Shane and Ilya's love story. They flooded social media, book clubs, and TikTok with fan art and essays about vulnerability, trust, and the courage it takes to love someone the world tells you not to. They saw in these men the same tenderness and fear that anyone feels when love asks them to be brave. When the streaming adaptation dropped, it shattered expectations. This is what I find crazy. Rotten Tomatoes lit up with a 98% audience score. That's huge. That only happens like once every 10 years. IMDb followed with a 9.1 out of 10. That is huge. And critics hailed it as one of the most honest and emotionally charged love stories on television. I tell you, you got to watch it. And even if you have to pay the $20 to subscribe to HBO Plus, it is worth it. And then came the music, and I'm going to play the song here in a minute. From the first frame of that pivotal scene, an anthem from another era returned. TATU is the artist, and the song is All the Things She Said. So back in 2002, it was a taboo-breaking hit. Two young women singing openly of forbidden love. 20 years later, in Heated Rivalry, it becomes the soundtrack to liberation. And Shane and Ilya finally let their guard down, trading the armor of rivalry for the vulnerability of truth. That haunting chorus filled the room, all the things she said running through my head. It wasn't just a throwback, it was a transformation. That song that once symbolized defiance became a modern hymn for self-acceptance. Streams of the track doubled in days. TikTok exploded with tributes, and fans, queer and straight alike, rediscovered its power. The songwriter, Elena Kipper, called it a full circle moment for queer love, from subtext to spotlight. But what made Heated Rivalry truly special wasn't only the romance or the soundtrack, and this is important, it was the honesty. I love it. I love it. For years, queer people have had to read between the lines for representation. This story didn't hide between the lines. It was the line. It painted bright and clear across the ice. It told us that love isn't weakness, that rivalry doesn't have to end in destruction, that even the toughest, most traditional spaces, authenticity wins. And maybe that's why so many allies, from LGBTQ plus fans to straight women across the globe, have claimed that this story is as their own. It isn't just about two men in love. It's about all of us daring to be seen, to drop the mask, and to love without apology. Because the truth is, love doesn't keep a score. Love doesn't play for one team or the other. Love, real, messy, breathtaking love, always wins. And now you know the rest of the story. And here is the song from that is a part of the TV series. Here we go. All the things she said. That was All the Things She Said by the anthem Reborn. I'm going to give you a little bit more information about the song and the artist because I think it's really significant, the message in it, and that the song was brought back. Sometimes a song just doesn't come back, returns with purpose. And in this case of Heated Rivalry, the series adaptation of Rachel Reed's beloved novel, that revival came roaring back in the form of one of the unforgettable tracks, All the Things She Said by TATU. That's an unusual name. When the song first hit the airwaves back in 2002, that would have been, 24 years ago, it was controversial, defiant, and ahead of its time. Two young women singing openly about forbidden love, breaking through the noise of the world, still uncomfortable with queer desire. It was raw, electric, and utterly unapologetic. Now, more than 24 years later, heated rivalry reclaims that anthem for a new generation. In a pivotal episode, as Shane and Lila's guarded rivalry gives way to vulnerability, when masks slip and their truth finally surfaces, the haunting chorus of all the things she said, running through my head, fills the screen. It's not just background music, it's a confession. For Shane and Elia, it mirrors the private storm inside every LGBTQ plus person who's ever struggled between love and expectation. The fear of being seen and the freedom that comes when you finally let yourself be. A single moment underscored by a song that once symbolized rebellion transforms into something redemptive. And the audience felt it. Streams of the track doubled within a week of the episode's release. TikTok and Instagram lit up with fan edits, not just of the couple, but of the real people sharing their own heated rivalry moments. The battle between what the world demands and what your heart knows to be true. Even the song's co-creator, Elena Kipper, called the revival a full circle moment for queer love, from subtext to spotlight. So yes, 20 years later, all the things that she said is no longer just about taboo attraction. It's about visibility, validation, and victory. And in the heat of that rivalry, and that is love, the song found new life as an anthem it always was meant to be. So that is the story about the song. I stand corrected about the price for HBO Max. It's $10.99 a month. Now, there are commercials. They have a few commercials but if you want to watch it, and the commercials are kind of nice once in a while to take a little break. But anyway, and I'm not getting paid. This is not a paid sponsorship, okay? Just so you know. Oh my! So I've gone through some really good fun stuff, and I do have some more fun stuff, but I want to give you a bit of a warning, and then we'll go back with some what I would say regular reporting. But this week, it's not often that the United States invades another country and detains the country's leaders, like Russia has attempted to invade Ukraine. We're highly critical of it, and then what do? We do the same thing, and even further than that, we take the leader of that country. Now, there may be some differences in the circumstances. Yes, maybe the Venezuelan government was much more corrupt than the Ukraine, but the response is what I question. I don't feel personally that any country, sovereign country, should invade another sovereign country, and certainly if they did, there would be huge human rights risks, and there would be a condemnation on a global level of what was going on that might, support actions to invade a sovereign country. And let's say that there would be a consensus, but there doesn't seem to be a consensus, except maybe in the petroleum industry, and I'll go on. But anyway, I'm warning you. I've got a couple long dissertations on this, and I'll go into the weeds. So if it's not something you're particularly interested in, then that's okay. But I feel it's terribly important to discuss it. So here we go. The first. First thing I want to touch on is, and where is it? Well, dang it. Let's start with the myths and the the myths about. We're going to do two things here. We're going to start with the myths, the first thing I want to touch on, because I think it's on everyone in the forefront of reporting, and it is a message that it is not the drugs, it is the oil, and there's documentation. There's not. So let me go on. Let's take a breath and let's talk about something we are systematically misled about. We are told that the U.S. actions in Venezuela are about drug trafficking, that this is law enforcement, and that is about keeping America safe. But facts matter, yes. And when we look at the facts, the story collapses, because Venezuela just happens to sit on the largest proven oil reserves on Earth. And Venezuela just happened to nationalize its oil industry, reclaiming refineries once controlled by ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips, telling multinational oil corporations this belongs to the people, that is the oil. And suddenly, Venezuela becomes a threat, not because of drugs, I feel because of oil. And now, here's where the hypocrisy becomes impossible to ignore. According to our own U.S. government agencies, the DEA, the State Department, and the United Nations, the primary sources of transit for drugs entering the United States are well established. Mexico is number one, the dominant source and transit company for fentanyl, meth, heroin, and cocaine. Number two is Colombia, the world's largest cocaine producer. Number three, China, a major supplier of fentanyl precursors. Peru, Ecuador, Guatemala, Panama, Honduras, Belize, and the Caribbean are all transit nations. This is not speculation, it's official data. And yet, Venezuela is the villain in the story, and Venezuela is not on that list. Why? Because this is not a drug war. This is an oil economy enforcing its dominance. And if anyone doubts how selective this so-called drug enforcement really is, consider this. In 2024, Juan Orlando Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, was convicted in U.S. federal courts for facilitating massive cocaine trafficking operations into the United States. That is Honduras. Honduras was on the list. Using his political power, security forces and state institutions to do so. And then, in December 2025, he was pardoned by President Donald Trump. That's not opinion, that's not conjecture, that's documented in Congressional Research Service report issued to members of Congress themselves. Let that sink in. A foreign head of state convicted of drug trafficking, pardoned. Meanwhile, entire countries are destabilized, sanctioned, and threatened, not because they flood our streets with drugs, but because they refuse to surrender their oil sovereignty. And while all this happens, the United States continues to subsidize the petroleum industry by tens of billions of dollars every year. Money that could be building renewable energy, addiction treatment, mental health care, housing, and climate resilience. The best way to fight the oil crisis is to go renewable resources. And it's kind of like it's so simple and so obvious that you don't see it, I guess. If this is really about saving lives, We'd be investing in public health, not punishment. We'd be investing in renewable energy, not oil monopolies. We'd be applying the law consistently, not selectively. Instead, we get a familiar script. Call it a drug war, hide the oil interests, punish the powerless, protect the politically useful, as in pardons. That's not justice, that's economic imperialism with a moral disguise. Here on Rainbow Radio, we believe in truth, we believe in accountability, and we believe that human lives matter more than barrels of oil. So let's stop pretending this is about drugs. Let's stop repeating the narrative that insults our intelligence, because until we name the real motive, until we confront the oil economy driving these decisions, we will keep watching that same tragedy play out under different headlines. And that, my friends, is the truth they don't want you talking about. That is my spin on it all. Now, there is another thing that I want to toss into the mix about this. Let's go into facts versus myths versus facts, because it sails on the tail of what I just said. Okay, we hear all the time when Venezuela comes up that they stole U.S. oil companies' assets, but history is rarely that simple. So today, let's slow it down and separate myth from fact. So if there is a lot of brouhaha about Venezuela taking assets from American companies or British companies, whoever, the Conoco and the two, which are they? Anyway, it's Conoco is one. Let's see. So myth number one, Venezuela stole oil refineries and never paid. Fact, Venezuela nationalized its oil industry in 1976. Folks, that's a little while ago. Creating a state oil company, PDVSA. And this was done through law, not chaos. Foreign oil companies were operating under concessions, not permanent ownership. When these concessions ended, Venezuela exercised their sovereign right to recognize under international law control over its natural resources. They wanted control of their natural resources. And this is not a midnight seizure. It was planned, legal, and publicly enacted, similar to actions taken when Mexico, Saudi Arabia, and others did the same. Oil companies were robbed without compensation. This is myth number two. Fact, in 1970, the 1970s nationalization companies were paid for their assets, and many continued operating in Venezuela under new arrangements. The real disputes became later in the 2000s when President Hugo Chavez changed the rules again and required joint ventures with PDVSA as a majority owner. Some companies agreed, others like ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips refused. They didn't want to be involved in a joint venture. They felt it wasn't to their advantage. These companies went to international arbitration, and they won compensation awards. This issue wasn't legality. It became whether Venezuela could actually pay amid economic collapses and sanctions. So these companies said, listen, if you don't want us to participate, you need to pay us for what we've done. And so they did. Nationalization caused Venezuela's collapse, is what they're saying. Oil, so the fact, that's the myth. The fact is, oil nationalization alone did not cause Venezuela's crisis. What caused collapse was a perfect storm. Extreme dependence on oil, 1. 2, falling global oil prices. 3, corruption and mismanagement. 4, weak democratic institutions. 5, economic sanctions. And 6, over-centralized power. Now, that just sounds like a perfect recipe for disaster to me. For decades after nationalization, Venezuela still had a growing middle class, free education, and strong infrastructure. The collapse came much later when the checks and balances failed. Myth number 4. This provides Venezuela's deserved punishment. That's what someone wants to say. Disputes between governments and corporations happen all over the world and are usually resolved through law arbitration and negotiation, not starvation, sanctions, or war. Punishing a country economically does not punish leaders alone. It punishes children, seniors, hospitals, teachers, artists, and everyday families. Governments are not people, and people are not policy. Why does this matter right now? Understanding the truth matters because false narratives justify extreme actions from sanctions to military force. When we simplify history into villains and slogans, we stop seeing humanity. And Rainbow Radio believes truth matters, context manages, matters, and people matter. So, Venezuela did not steal an oil in some lawless act. It asserted sovereignty, paid compensation in earlier cases, disputed later valuations, and then collapsed under the weight of power, policy, and pressure. That's not propaganda. That is history. So that's the rest of it. Now, there's another, kind of along the same line. There's a lot of brouhaha about Somalia. Yeah, that's another one. And so I'm going to roll into Somalia here. Where are we on the time? How are we doing? Oh, okay. We're going to take a short song break, and I have a announcement, and then, we will be back on the other side, and we'll go on to continue my diatribe.
Take a breath that's true. I look to you and I see nothing. I look to you to see the truth. You live your life, you go in shadow. You'll come apart and you'll go blind. Some kind of night into your darkness colors your eyes with what's not there. Fade into you. A stranger's light comes on slowly. A stranger's heart without a home. You put your hands into your head and then smile, cover your heart. Strange
I want to tell you about the Cliff Restaurant here in Laguna Beach. The Cliff has an amazing menu. You will find something that you'll fall in love with, whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. This I guarantee you. But as fantastic as the dining experience will be, that's only the start. You'll be eating this extra yummy meal while enjoying the best view of the Laguna coastline imaginable. From the patio, you have a full 180-degree view of downtown Laguna and beyond. After dinner, gather around the fire pits to hear some of the best local talent to be heard in Laguna Beach. The menus, entertainment schedules, and more can be found at their website, thecliffrestaurant.com. 7 days a week, The Cliff Restaurant at 577 South Coast Highway. You'll be happy you went.
Yes, you'll be happy you went. It is a lovely location, and when I have company from out of town and I want to give them a taste of Laguna and the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, that's where I go. There's a lot of great places, but if you want to include the ocean, that's a great one. All right, going to step on to, as I said, Somalia, because I think it's politics on the national level. And then I do have a short, I do have a perspective for I Love California 2026 on the horizon, with reasons to believe coming up. And then an expanded segment on Buckmaster Fuller and Nikola Tesla and the choice to design a world that works for everyone. Those are very optimistic, forward-thinking, fun things to discuss. So, but in the interim, I'm going to draw back to Somalia. I am familiar personally with Somalia and the culture there, having followed it closely in documentaries over the years. I'm not sure why. I think I was intrigued when they were, Somalia citizens were attacking cargo ships off their shore, and trying to understand what was going on there. And it's a sad, horrific story. And they're being villainized even more. And it's so. So when we hear the word Somalia in the news today, it's too often wrapped in fear, accusation, or political outrage, unfortunately. But before it became a headline, Somalia was and is a people, a culture, and a history of survival against some of the most unimaginable odds. Somalia is a nation shaped by hardship not of its own making. Decades of colonial exploitation, like has happened. Thank you, Great Britain. Cold War, proxy battles, civil war, drought, famine, and the collapse of stable governance have forced ordinary people into a daily struggle for survival. For many, it has been a life or death reality, not an ideological choice. In that desperation, some have turned to acts of the world condemns: piracy, black market economies, armed groups. These actions are not justified, but they are explained by conditions where hunger, displacement, and hopelessness dominate daily life. The survival is uncertain. Morality is tested, and too often exploited by warlords, extremist groups, and foreign interests alike. I just feel like it's been beat all to hell. Somalia has become a place where hope is a currency, and anyone, think about this, a militia, a terrorist group, or a foreign power who offers even the illusion of stability can gain influence. This is not because the Somali people lack values, but because they are repeatedly used, abandoned, and forgotten. And hope gives them hope. And when Somalia people flee across deserts, across seas, across borders, they are doing what humans have always done. They seek safety, dignity, and a future. That brings us to the United States. Somalia Americans do not come here to destroy this country. They came here to save themselves and their families. They built businesses. They work in hospitals, warehouses, schools, and transportation. They serve in our military. They raise children who pledge allegiance to the same flag as everyone else. And yet, Somalia Americans are being politicized, scapegoated, and publicly vilified. We see demoralizing politics when, this is a recipe Entire communities are blamed for the alleged actions of a few. Fraud accusations are weaponized to justify stripping citizenship. Immigration status is threatened as a conditional loyalty. Human beings are reduced to statistics, stereotypes, or insults. Fear is used as a campaign strategy rather than a call to solutions. This is not about public safety. This is not about accountability. This is about power through division. History shows us that when a society begins to define who is worthy of belonging, humanity itself is at risk. Rainbow Radio stands for something better. Now, I will add a personal note. I'm not a Pollyanna with rose-colored glasses. I do think that there are bad people from Somalia, and they should be treated as judiciously as is appropriate. But to cast the whole, as I say, the baby out with the bathwater is less than humanitarian. We believe humanitarian action is stronger than oppression, that compassion is not a weakness, that understanding does not excuse harm, but prevents cruelty. The demonized Somali Americans who took charge of their lives, who embraced hope over despair, is not patriotism. It's a failure of empathy. It's a dark turn away from our shared humanity. If we cannot recognize ourselves in those who flee suffering, if we cannot separate desperate survival from deliberate hatred, we cannot protect human dignity while enforcing laws fairly, then we're not solving problems, we are creating new ones, and that's not who we claim to be, because the true measure of a society is not how it treats the powerful, but how it treats the vulnerable. So that's my perspective. Somalia has been a country that's been beat about and taken advantage of, and for all their efforts, they have not been able to establish a democratic government and a government that serves the people, and they've been. So that's my spin on it, and I think that needed to be said. Okay, I've said it now. All right. I do have another Chapel Roan. Oh, here. I'm just going to play it, okay?
She was a playboy, Bridget Bardot. She showed me things I didn't know. She did it right there, out on the deck. Put her canine teeth in the side of my neck. I'm in the hallway waiting for ya. Mini skirt and my go-go boots. I just want you to make a move. So slow down, sit down, it's new. I just wanna get to know ya, 'cause I didn't quite think it through. Fell in love with the thought of you. Now I'm choked up, face down, burnt out. Baby, why don't you come over? Red wine supernova, falling into me. Let's pick it up now. I don't care that you're a stoner. Red wine supernova, falling into me.
That's Chapel Roan with Supernova, right? Yeah. Yeah. I have another, as long as President Trump said that we're now in charge of Venezuela and we're going to run the government until they find a way to resolve a new government or get a new power or get, it's our country now, taking the leader out and we're taking charge and said so we should know more about it. Yeah. Okay. So let's go dive in a little history of Venezuela. I'm not that educated on it and I had to do a little digging. And so this is what I came up. A nation beyond the headlines, because after all, it is ours now, according to what, anyway, before we debate military action, sanctions, or political leaders, we must understand who Venezuela is, not who it's portrayed to be in sound bites. Okay, fair enough. Let's go there. Venezuela is a country shaped by independence, culture, oil wealth, inequality, and resilience. Its current crisis did not appear overnight. It cannot be explained by a single ideology or a villain. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's give a brief historical snapshot. Venezuela won independence from Spain. Did you know that? In 1821, inspired by the ideals of Simón Bolívar, who envisioned self-rule, dignity, and unity across Latin America. I like Simón so far. But like most post-colony nations, there's that colonialism, Venezuelan struggled with concentrated wealth, military rule, weak institutions, and foreign influence over natural resources. That's in 1821. I mean, that's a while ago, like 200 years ago. These unsolved tensions would later fuel political upheaval. The culture, the soul of Venezuela. Venezuelan culture is vibrant, warm, and expressive. Music like joropo, salsa, Afro-Caribbean rhythms, deep family ties and communal living, strong traditions of storytelling, humor, and art. Even amid crises, Venezuelans are known for hospitality, generosity, and joy, values that do not disappear when economies collapse. A little bit more history. Oil, wealth, and distorted power. Venezuela holds the largest proven oil reserves on earth. Yes, we know that. For decades, oil money funded free education, healthcare, infrastructure, a strong middle class. But it also centralized political power, reduced economic diversity, and encouraged corruption, and made the country vulnerable to oil price crashes. Oil didn't just power the economy, it shaped the political system. Okay, now on to the modern political shift. This is where we get into the juiciness of it. In the late 1990s, a rising inequality and corruption led the election of Hugo Chavez, who promised redistribution and wealth and national dignity. After his death, Nicolas Maduro inherited a fragile, oil-dependent economy, falling oil prices, international sanctions, and weak institutional trust. The result was a slow-motion collapse, not caused by a single decision, but by interlocking failures. Some myths and facts about Venezuela. A myth is Venezuela is poor because Venezuelans are lazy or corrupt. Fact, Venezuela was once one of Latin America's wealthiest nations. The collapse resulted from structural dependency on oil, policy missteps, and corruption across decades of external pressures, not from its people. Myth 2, it's just socialism failing. Fact, Venezuelan crisis reflects authoritarian governance, economic mismanagement, oil dependency, and weakened democratic checks, not textbook economic model. Many social programs once improved lives before institutional failure set in. Myth 3. Sanctions don't hurt ordinary people. Sanctions restrict access to currency, trade, medicine, infrastructure, financing. While intended to pressure leaders, they often hit civilians the hardest, especially the poor, elderly, and sick. Myth number 4. The government speaks for all Venezuelans. Fact, Venezuelans hold diverse political views. Many oppose the government and foreign intervention at the same time. Protest movements, exiles, and civil society groups reflect this complexity. And number 5, migration means people rejected their country. In fact, millions left because survival demanded it, not because they abandoned their culture or identity. Most Venezuelans abroad send money home and dream of returning. Myth number 6, military intervention will fix the problem. Here we go. Will it? We'll find out. I guess history shows that external force rarely creates stable democracy. Long-term recovery requires institutions, reconciliation, and Venezuelan-led solutions, not imposed outcomes. Why this matters right now: when governments talk about intervention, arrests, or regime change, it's easy to lose sight of the people living inside those borders. But governments are not nations, and policy is not humanity. Venezuelan's story is not a warning label. It's a reminder of what happens when power concentrates, voices are silenced, and systems stop serving people. Boy, does that sound familiar. Rainbow Radio, my closing thought: Venezuela is not a failure of people. It is a crisis of governance, history, and global power, and the path forward must be guided by compassion, truth, and respect for human dignity. So there you have it. That's what the challenge is. I think we went into another country not too long ago. I think under the Bush administration, we thought we were going to change the culture in a few short months or 6 months, and many lives later and many $1 billion spent, we pulled out and it was still there. The problems were never solved. I think that's a fair appraisal. Okay, even the people that were part of the program admit to it, so it's not just a left-wing rant about nothing. So anyway, there you have it. We're going to we're at the top of the hour, and we're going to give our station a little break here.
KXRN LP, Laguna Niguel, Laguna Beach. KXFM on 104.7, KXFMradio.org.
Hey there, what's up, Laguna? Janice Murray here with news. The city of Laguna Beach has received a $2.5 million grant for affordable housing development. The grant has been awarded through the California Local Housing Trust Fund program, supporting affordable housing and providing matching funds for another $2.5 million for a total of $5 million altogether for development. The city plans to discuss use of these funds early this coming year. The grant application by our city identified the neighborhood Congregational Church site, the NCC, as a potential affordable housing project. Those revised plans to be submitted this January 2026, including a 2-story building with 28 residential units, all 100% affordable, plus 1 residential manager unit and a 41-space parking garage adjacent to the church at the corner of Glen Eyrie and Catalina Streets. A town hall meeting is expected on this in January, so stay tuned. And I'm Janice Murray for news on 104.7 KXFM. And now, here's Dave.
We are off and running with more unsettled weather on this Sunday in Laguna Beach. We are in a very wet stretch, but that is going to be changing late next week as we start to dry out. But not today. Lots of clouds. We'll call it mostly cloudy. Periods of rain. Could be a little rumble of thunder here and there, but certainly not for everybody. 60 at the beach. 61 the hilltop and the canyon, 60 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, periods of rain, could be a rumble of thunder, 55. On Monday, I'm going to keep a chance of an early morning shower, but Monday is primarily dry, partly sunny, and 59 degrees. Some more unsettled weather moving in after that, but warmer and dry by the end of next week. That's my forecast. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray. Tune in, turn on KXFM 104.7, Laguna's Community Radio.
I'm Patty Compton, asking you to join me for Play Something Sweet, where we sweeten the music with a little cultural history. Every Thursday at 4 p.m. on KXFM, we explore the history and cultural significance of every genre of music. If you love music and history, you'll want to get your weekend started with us every Thursday at 4 as we play something sweet on your home for human-crafted radio, KXFM at 104.7.
This disclaimer is a statement notifying listening audiences that any opinions expressed on our shows are not representative of Laguna Radio, Inc., its management, or its board of directors.
And don't forget that as I offer my opinions. Craig, Rainbow Radio back for our second hour here on a cloudy, chilly day here in Laguna Beach, but still the temperature is a very comfortable 60 degrees, but not necessarily beach weather. As we go on, I have one more wrap, I think, of what we're talking about. This country, apparently, we've taken charge of control of, and it is under our management, is what I understand. When you pull the leader out, and God knows what's going on. But Constitution in crisis, what Congress should do next on Venezuela. And I think this is the crux of all of what I've gone on today, and I'm going to end on this one. I don't have any more. I've got some good, fun things to talk about, but let's get through this because I think it's important. Again, how often do we take control of a country and depose its leaders into to a trial and put them on trial in our nation for crimes? Oh, the hypocrisy. Oh, the mendacity. I love that word. The mendacity of it all. It's a good one. All right. So today, explosions in Caracas. This was actually yesterday. Reports of U.S. military strikes and claims that Venezuelan President Maduro and his wife have been captured by U.S. forces. Yes, it happened. Let's break it down clearly. If we're looking at U.S. military having struck another sovereign nation and taken its sitting leader into custody. That's not a raid. That's not a limited strike. That's war. And under our U.S. Constitution, a president cannot lawfully start a war or remove foreign government without Congress's approval. And they seem to be just sitting on the sidelines lately. The Constitution gives only Congress the power to declare war, not the president, and requires the president to get authorization from Congress before sending troops into hostilities that could lead to war, you think? And even under the War Powers Resolution, the president must notify Congress and can't keep troops in hostilities beyond a limited time without congressional approval. So, in other words, you got to get Congress. Here are 6 steps Congress should take right now. I mean, if I'm going to put it out there, I might as well give them some instruction. Immediate hearing. Hold an urgent hearings with defense, state, and justice officials to clarify the legal basis for the Venezuelan operation. Demand documentation. Subpoena all orders, legal memoranda, and communications that justify this action under U.S. and international law. The War Powers vote. Pass a resolution either authorizing or rejecting the president's use of force because the Constitution requires this legislative check. Fair enough. Budget action, using Funding Powers Act to limit or condition further military expenditures for this campaign. Oversight and accountability. Establish a joint congressional commission to assess whether constitutional or statutory requirements were met. And number 6, impeachment considerations. If it's clear that the president acted without legal authority, Congress should consider impeachment or other accountability measures. Why this matters. This isn't abstract legal talk. War affects real people and real families and real democracy. If presidents can bypass Congress at will, the constitutional system that protects our liberties weakens. And that's something every American, regardless of political party, should care about. Stay tuned to Rainbow Radio for continuing coverage, as you know I will, and what this means for the U.S. law and world peace. So that's my final thing. Congress, you need to get your glasses on. Check it out. Absolutely. What do we have? Back in the day when things were, somewhat normal.
Back in the day, we used to run. Hands up, hands up. No complications, no second thought. Just hands up, hands up. I would walk away if they asked me to. I'd live another day just to spend with you. I loved you like the sound of the ocean, rhythm, the emotion. I loved you like the sound of the ocean, rhythm, the emotion. Rhythm, 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 the emotion. Those were the days we used to run. Hands up, straight for the sun. Just conversation, no second thought. Our hands up, hands up. I would walk away if they asked me to. I'd live another day just to spend with you. I loved you like the sound of the ocean, the rhythm, the emotion. I loved you like the sound of the ocean, the rhythm, the emotion. Rhythm, 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 the emotion.
Oh, back in the day, Rainbow Radio back here. And I am, as I promised you, we're moving on to some more positive now that we've beat the horse to death with regard to Venezuela, our new country, I know that there's some other countries that have a lot of oil reserves, and I'm wondering, like Greenland, I think, is one of them. So, oh, let's hope this is not a trend. Rainbow Radio, why I love California. 2026 on the horizon. What reasons to believe that we have hope and admire our fabulous state? What are they? Let's go. As we look to 2026, what's coming, why it matters, and why, despite all the noise, this is still a state worth living in. Absolutely. Investing in mines, number one. Not just markets. In 2026, California is continuing to expand tuition-free community college. Yes, especially for first-time students, working adults, and seniors. retraining later in life. I think that's a powerful thing. Specifically, they're expanding the California Promise programs, guaranteeing 2 years of free community college. We're also a new career pipeline in healthcare, green energy, digital media, and skilled trades, and a partnership between community college and local employers so education leads directly to jobs. How about that? Yes, California. Why does this matter? Because education isn't just about degrees. It's about dignity, mobility, and possibility. California is saying learning doesn't expire, and neither do people. There you go. Housing with humanity. Number 2, across California, 2026 brings innovative housing solutions that focus on speed, affordability, and community. Examples include modular and factory-built housing that cuts costs and construction time in half. Conversion of empty office buildings, motels, and commercial spaces into housing. Supportive housing projects paired with mental health and social services. Pilot communities designed specifically for artists. I like this one. Seniors, veterans, and essential workers. This is worth celebrating because housing is no longer treated as a luxury. It's being recognized as the foundation of public health, safety, and stability, as it should be. When people have a place to live, everything else becomes possible. So, and then number 3, climate leadership. That creates jobs. California remains the national leader in climate action and that actually employs people. That's an interesting concept. In 2026, this is what it looks like for 2026. Expansion of solar farms and rooftop solar initiatives, offshore wind energy products along the California coast, massive investments in battery storage to stabilize the grid, statewide wildfire prevention projects creating thousands of jobs, water recycling, and storm water capture projects to protect future supplies. This is an abstract environmentalism. It's practical stewardship. California is proving you can protect the planet and pay the rent at the same time. Wow. I like that. Okay, let's moving on to something that's near and dear to Laguna Beach. Arts, culture, and storytelling back at the center. California is recommitting to the idea that art is civic infrastructure. I like that. In 2016, we will be seeing increased art grants for local organizations and individual artists. Hey, here we are, Laguna Beach. Public murals and place-making projects revitalizing neighborhoods. Film and television incentives keeping creative jobs in state. Support for digital media hubs. That sounds familiar. Community radio and local storytelling. Boy, that is KXFM in a nutshell right there. I love it. Next, cultural preservation programs in protecting Indigenous, LGBTQ+, and immigrant histories. Why celebrate this? Because art doesn't just decorate society, it documents it, it challenges it, and it heals it. A state that funds the arts is a state that values its soul. I love that. The soul of art. Okay. And next up is defending love, identity, and personal freedom. This is all California. While other states roll back rights, California continues to move forward. We anticipate in 2026, LGBTQ protections in healthcare, education, and public life are strengthened. California remains a safe state for reproductive healthcare access. Legal protections for transgender youth and families continue to expand. Immigrant communities receive expanded legal and social support. This matters because safety is not abstract. It's knowing your family is recognized, your body is respected, your love is protected. California continues to be a place where human rights are not up for debate. I love it. And the next one is reimagining how we move and connect. California is rethinking transportation, not just cars, but connection. And there's there's an elephant in the room. That is the high-speed rail, and it's just continued development of high-speed rail. Boy, has it had its challenges, and it's been under not just Gavin Newsom's administration, but it started long before him and got in the throes of it, and it's still at a very pivotal point all these years. And unfortunately, I do think there is a way forward that just in the last 3 months has kind of been identified. So let's hope. Let's give it hope. We can have a expansion of regional rail and bus rapid transit, massive rollout EV charging infrastructure, investments in walkable, bike-friendly downtowns, clean public transit projects, reducing pollution in frontline communities. This is about success to jobs, education, healthcare, and each other. When movement becomes equitable, opportunity follows. So, my closing thoughts. California is not perfect. Nope. It argues loudly, it experiments boldly, and sometimes it stumbles publicly. But in 2026, California continues to choose progress over fear, community over cruelty, and hope over resignation. And that is why we love California, not because it's finished, but because it's still trying. And here on Rainbow Radio, we celebrate that effort because a state willing to imagine better is a state worth believing in. And I'm unanimous in that thought. It's all good, folks, on KXFM 104.7 Rainbow Radio here on a cloudy, bit chilly, kind of damp, 100% humidity morning here in Laguna Beach. So, yeah, what can I say?
All I wanna get is a little bit closer. All I wanna know is, can you come a little closer? Here comes the breath before we get a little bit closer. Here comes the rush before we touch. Come a little closer. little bit closer. All I wanna know is, can you come a little closer? I want you to stay till I'm in the grave, till I rot away, dead and buried, till I'm in the casket you carry. If you go, I'm going through, 'cause it was always you. And if I'm turning blue, please don't save me. Nothing left to lose without my baby. Birds of a feather, we should stick together. I know I said I'd never think I wasn't better alone. Can't change the weather, might not be forever, but if it's forever, it's even better. And I don't know what I'm crying for. I don't think I could love you more. It might not be long, but baby, I'll love you till the day that I die. Till the day that I die. Till the light leaves my eyes. Till the day that I die. I want you to see how you look to me. You wouldn't believe if I told you. You wouldn't eat the compliments I throw you. But you're so full of shit. Tell me it's a bit. Say you don't see it. Your mind's polluted. Say you wanna quit. Don't be stupid. I don't know what I'm crying for. I don't think I could love you more. Might not be long, but baby, I don't wanna say goodbye. Just till the day that I die. Till the light in my eyes. Till the day I die.
Oh, there we have it with Billie Eilish. Get it right, Craig. So I alluded to a formula for solving all the world's problems. That's something my mother used to do with a bottle of wine. And before the bottle of wine, when it was finished, all the problems of the world had been solved. And I praised her for that. Of course, maybe the wine had a little bit more to do with it. But, you know, sometimes an exercise with a little wine does help brighten the day and cause some new thoughts to invade your psyche and your mind. But I digress. Today I want to talk about, as I alluded to earlier, an architect and engineer. And both, you know, are very closely related. But the two of those individuals are very pretty well known. One is Buckminster Fuller, and the other is Nikola Tesla. Now, Nikola Tesla is nothing to do with Elon Musk, nothing to do with the Tesla motor car, except that he stole the name, or he used the name, his last name as his brand. but it has to do with the person. And so Buckminster Fuller, I want to call him Buckminster Fuller, and Nikola Tesla, and the choice to design a world that works for everyone. Now, this is a profound thought, and it's not socialism. It's about technology being able to provide so many things, and yet technology not being proliferated around the world so that everyone can enjoy its benefits, unfortunately. And therein lies the consternation. So, good. To everyone this morning listening from kitchens and cars and from quiet apartments and busy households, from places of comfort and places of uncertainty, this morning I want to talk about hope that is grounded in reality. Now, I've been working on this since I was in college, which was a few years ago, and I took a class on ecology and conservation, I guess. But the instructor was a young, dynamic, believing person, and he talked about many things. Silent Spring was a book that was out that was very popular, and it was talking about the chemicals we use that might kill a species that causes the collapse of the world. You know, Silent Spring is about birds that no longer have birds hatch eggs because of the chemicals. And in a short time, but anyway, because of this one species is no longer around, other species take the space, and the world goes into turmoil, and there's no more new species, and all sorts of bad things happen. But it's called Silent Spring. Spring never sprung again. And so that was what I was learning about in the college. And one of the things that I got turned on to was Buckminster Fuller. Let's just call him Buck. So Buck, remarkably, as an architect, he got a patent, and he got a patent on the geodesic dome. Now, you've probably seen him. The sphere in Las Vegas is essentially a geodesic dome. Getting a patent on a geodesic dome for its strength and engineering is like getting a patent on the wheel. I mean, I don't know how he did it, but he did it anyway. But he had, where I'm going with all this is his philosophy and Nikola Tesla's philosophy. So it's hope that's grounded in reality, not wishful thinking, not slogans, but ideas so powerful they still challenge the world decades after their authors are gone. And let's begin with the man who asked the dangerous question, what if the world doesn't actually have to work this way? I mean, he's talking about politics, commerce, everything. What if the world doesn't have to work this way? That man was Buckminster Fuller. Fuller wasn't just an architect. Yes, he gave us the geodesic dome, strong, efficient, elegant, but that dome was really a metaphor, a symbol of how nature itself it solves problems. Doing more with less, creating strength through connection, not domination. Buckminster Fuller believed humanity had already reached a point where everyone on Earth could live at a higher standard of living than anyone has ever known. Not someday, not after one more invention, but already. And that was in the 60s, folks, the 60s and 70s. He said it plainly. So we got a lot more technology. It no longer has to be you or me. And that statement alone threatens the foundations of systems built on scarcity, competition, and fear. Fuller believed poverty was not a moral failure, homelessness was not inevitable, and war was not human nature. They were outdated systems. They were outdated systems, and they are outdated systems, kept alive by habit, power, and that almighty dollar profit. He believed war was obsolete. That selfishness was unnecessary, that the same technologies used to dominate and destroy could be transformed into what they call livingry. 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 Tools designed to sustain life, dignity, and well-being. Imagine that. Imagine our Department of Defense budget. And here's the part that still lands hard today. If the tools already exist, then the problem isn't technology. No, the problem is choice. I'm getting pretty radical here, folks. Now, let's bring another visionary into this conversation, a man whose ideas lit the modern world, yet whose greatest dream was never fulfilled. That is Nikola Tesla. Tesla believed something just as radical as Buckminster Fuller, maybe even more so. He believed energy should be free. Not free as in careless, but free as in liberated. Tesla understood that energy, electricity, power, light, was fundamental to human life as air and water. He believed that once humanity learned how to generate it abundantly, and he was working on that project really hard, it should never be metered, rationed, or weaponized as a commodity. Now, the little history lesson here. J.P. Morgan was a fond supporter of Nikola Tesla in his development of energy, cheap energy that could be monetized. And when he found out, after he invested in Nikola's research and his facilities, and that one particular that he was building to capture the energy of the magnetic energy of the globe of Earth, which sounds pretty crazy, but he built it. And he demonstrated the static electricity that surrounds us all. Anyway, J.P. Morgan said, "Oh no, we can't put a meter on it. We can't give it away. I'm not funding anything where we're going to give it away." And he really pulled back. And after Nikola Tesla, several pleading letters, which to read them is just heartbreaking. You know, I want to save humanity. I want to do this, yada yada yada. And J.P. Morgan said, "No, I can't make a buck. I'm adding a little opinion in that, and I'm cutting it a little short." But anyway, essentially that is documented, and there's the letters that Tesla wrote asking for more funding to build his dream that never happened, and it's a sad one. Tesla managed in a world where energy flowed freely across the planet, imagined a world where energy flowed freely across the planet, where no one was left in darkness because they couldn't afford a bill, where innovation served humanity instead of shareholders. That's the conflict with J.P. Morgan. And what happened to that dream? It was dismantled. Not because it didn't work, because it threatened profit. Tesla's vision, like Fuller's, challenged the idea that a few must control the many, that survival should be monetized, that basic human needs, shelter, energy, water, food, should be leveraged for power. Sound familiar? Today, we live in a world where a tiny fraction of humanity controls unimaginable wealth, while millions struggle simply to exist, where people are unhoused, not because we lack materials, but because we lack political will, where war is funded endlessly, where compassion is questioned for its cost. Buckminster Fuller and Nikola Tesla were not naive dreamers. They were realists. They looked at the math. They studied the systems. One's an engineer, one's an architect, of course. They understood the capacity of human ingenuity. And they reached the same conclusion. There is enough. There has been enough. The suffering we see is not necessary. For the LGBTQ plus community and for all the communities pushed to the margins, this matters deeply. Because when systems are designed for domination, the most vulnerable are always the first to be excluded, erased, or blamed. But here's the hope. If these systems were designed, they can be redesigned. A world without poverty is not radical. A world without homelessness is not unrealistic. A world where energy, shelter, and dignity are shared is not impossible. It is simply inconvenient to those who profit from inequality. Buckminster Fuller believed humanity was being tested, not on intelligence, but on responsibility, on whether we would continue playing the zero-sum game or financially realize that cooperation is the most advanced technology we have. Nikola Tesla believed the true measure of progress was not how much power we could generate, but how freely we were willing to share it. And so, here we are. At a moment in history where technology races ahead, but ethics struggle to keep up. While we must decide whether our future will be shaped by fear or by care, the future isn't waiting to be invented. And here's the Rainbow at Rainbow Radio. We choose a future where nobody is disposable, where abundance is shared, where innovation serves life, and where love, not greed, becomes the organizing principle of our world. Dear friends, thank you for choosing hope. That's my Craig Cooley here on Rainbow Radio on a rainy Sunday in the year 2026, the fourth day of 2026. That just seems like a crazy time, but I digress. Let's move forward here. I'm ready.
Across the floor and I'm already losing my mind. Baby girl, looking fine. Watch you playing and playing these guys. Catch my step, a little smile. Tell me that you're ready and you're feeling the vibe. Someday I'll be so damn sublime. Right behind the hashtag sign. I won't forget you, but I may forget your name. My lady, I know what you're thinking when the bass starts ringing. Can you tell me when you're stoked to start? Are you ready for tonight? Setting it on fire and we'll dance until we're dumb in the dark. My lady, I know what you're thinking when the bass starts ringing. Can you tell me when you're stoked to start? Are you ready for tonight? Setting it on fire and we'll dance until we're dumb in the dark. Are you ready? Down dirty jokes, watch me dear and say what you wanna know. Beauty lies within the eyes of the beholder. I'll be holding you close all night. Won't forget you, but I may forget your name. My lady, I know what you're thinking when the bass starts ringing. Can you tell me when you're stoked to start? Are you ready for tonight? Setting it on fire and we'll dance until we're dumb in the dark. My lady, I know what you're thinking when the bass starts ringing. Can you tell me when you're stoked to start? Are you ready for tonight? Setting it on fire and we'll dance until we're dumb in the dark. Are you ready? I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Break me down, I'm ready, break me down. Break me down, I'm ready, break me down. Break me down now, break me down. Break me down, I'm ready, break me down. Break me down, I'm ready, break me down. I won't forget you, but I may forget your name. I'm ready,
Save me.
Rainbow Radio here at the rainy, the weather is just blustery out there and it's wet. Drive safely, please. Be careful. Not everyone is experienced drivers in the rain, and it's good to be extra careful. Well, no bicycles out today, that's for sure. And I see the wind blowing a trash can down the street. That's interesting. Yeah, the wind is out there. Oh, that trash can, it's gone a half a block already. Oh my! So be careful. Yeah, the trees. I'm surprised I'm getting any warnings here from the city. Anyway, there are a few events coming up with the LGBTQ flare, and I should mention the ones here that are happening in January. Tomorrow, Monday, provided the weather's nice, I suppose, in Seal Beach, there is pickleballers, and so it's every Monday, and it goes on. They play every Monday, and allies take to the courts for community pickleball every Monday afternoon, mixing sports, laughter, and connections on the beach. And it's the Gay Orange County is the news reporting service on that, so you can get more details at the Gay Orange County. And also presented by the Gay Orange County is, this is important, this time of year that's going to be very difficult. So it's on Monday and Tuesday in Tustin. A safe, supportive space for healing and sharing opens its doors for 2 afternoon sessions offering comfort and for community and community for those navigating loss. And this time of year, it seems that if you've lost someone during the year and it's the first time you're getting together and that person's not there, provokes a whole lot of grief. And so here's an opportunity again. That's LGBTQ plus grief support group in person. and it's in Tustin, in a safe, supportive space for healing and sharing. So, and then moving on to Saturday, January 17th, in Greenwich Village and the 1960s at the Los Angeles LGBT Center, history comes alive with an evening exploring queer life and culture in an iconic Greenwich Village era, a theatrical educational event. And that is the Los Angeles LGBTQ Center, so you can find out more there. Again, that's Saturday the 17th, this next Saturday, a week from, 6 days away. And on Friday, January 23rd and 31st, it's Goodbye Horses, an unauthorized retelling. So this is a bold stage presentation at the Village and at the LGBTQ Center again. Reimagines the cult classic film, The Silence of the Lambs. Oh, my God. With a queer-centered twist that invites laughter, reflection, and reinvention. I can't believe that you can have laughter in the same sentence as Silence of the Lambs. But I guess so. And you can get more information on the LGBT Center website. And also at Long Beach Pride. And this is for this looking further forward, what's coming up this year. The summer of 2026, the dates will be announced soon, but they haven't. But Long Beach, as it always does, has a fabulous 3-day parade, live concerts, and drag shows. It's huge, and it's lots of fun, and it's usually very well attended and a lovely Pride event. Probably the most fun one, I think, in state of California, although San Francisco does pretty well. So does some of the other places. And then in late spring, in WeHo Pride in West Hollywood, dates to be announced. So there's another Pride. Prides are all being scheduled. Second weekend in June, LA Pride Parade and Festival, downtown Hollywood Boulevard. So, and then in the summer, there's... again, out on the mountain, a Six Flags in Valencia, Thrills Meets Pride. So that will be coming up. So those are some things that I felt I needed to announce, and I will keep us updated on all those things on Rainbow Radio. And lastly, if you have any comments or want to make any contributions, or even want, you have say you wrote a poem, say you wrote a short article, an editorial, and you want to share it with me, I would be happy to take a look at it and see if we can't work it in the program. You can always get a hold of me at Craig at rainbow-radio.org. That's Craig at rainbow-radio.org. And send me a message. I read them all. This isn't a one-way dialogue, although it is technically, I suppose. But anyone can call in to the station at any time. Those numbers are on the website at rainbow-radio.org. Or they can join me in a Zoom every week if they want to be have a visual. And Zooms are actually live broadcast streamed to YouTube. So you're everywhere. If you want to do so. If you don't, you can just anonymously send me a note or editorial, anything. And if you have suggestions on guests for the program, authors, book writers, movie makers, business owners, whatever, civic leaders doing good things for the community, I want to hear about it, because we need to share goodness and spread light where there is darkness. All those good things. Well, I have had a fabulous Sunday morning. In spite of the rain, I might go home and have a hot chocolate and make some chicken soup. How's that sound? For a beautiful rainy Sunday, fourth day of 2026. Boy, I hope this next week gets better than the first few days of 20. I had high hopes, but I don't know. Let's not be negative here. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here on this Sunday, rainy Sunday morning. And I will be back next week with more to talk about. Hopefully, a guest I've got lined up, and that'll have to remain unannounced. But if you're follow me on the website, if you're signed up to receive emails, you'll get the notice. So That's also important. You can go to rainbow-radio and provide your name, email address, and name. And as well, today's program will be added as a podcast on the website. So if you missed anything, and my diatribe about Venezuela, and what I wanted to know is how many people. What is the population of Venezuela? I should ask my my computer here. Yeah, let's do that, because I think that's one thing. Why didn't I include that? Let's see. What is the population of Venezuela? It's coming up. Well, the population is around 28 to 31 million. That's a lot of people. For comparison, I wonder how many are in the state of California. What is the population for the state of California? And that is 39 million. So, are we comparable? I guess so. So that's what we've taken over. I don't want to end my program on that note. Have a happy Sunday, and come back next week with higher hopes than we have this week, and it's all good. I appreciate you turning in and listening. This is Craig signing off for Rainbow Radio here in lovely Laguna Beach. Carpe diem. Thanks.
KXRN LP, Laguna Niguel, Laguna Beach. KXFM on 104.7, KXFMradio.org.
Hey there.